Hello, and welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast this evening. We're thrilled to have Miss Melissa Ray with us tonight, and we want to really discuss this whole month of April about children's children's books. And we're really excited because can children's books really change the world? Can it change people's lives? Well, we think that it can, and we're very excited to discuss this tonight. So before we start talking to her, we are going to jump into this.
I'm April Tribe Juke. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. I believe we are all made with light, and light is hope. This podcast brings authors who write stories of hope to all of you. Your journey to be inspired and amplified by these stories starts now.
And we're back. Welcome, everyone, and welcome, Melissa. So before we get talking about your books, your two books tonight, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hi. Thanks for having me, April. It's good to see you again. I'm Melissa Ray. I'm an author, a speaker, and a belief coach. And I talk about what you believe, say, do, and think, and why it matters.
Wow, amazing. Very, very clear. All cut right there. So if any of you may be lacking in some belief, looks like she can maybe give you that support and move forward with it. So we're so excited to have you here this evening. And if any of you read the blog on Monday, this is an exciting time because she shared with us that this is actually a 4-part series that she is writing, connecting all of these books together. And what books are we talking about? The first one here is called The Fence Post. There it is. She's got it there holding out nice and pretty. And if you can see, it's also in a Spanish translation. So very, very exciting. So really opening it up to multiple communities. And the other book is called True Friends. Again, there she is. It's beautiful. Oh, look. And also the Spanish. So really, really this opens it up for so many cultures and people and readabilities. So way to go and congratulations on all of that, Melissa. So tell me why, since we just kind of talked about the Spanish language, tell me why it was important for your book to have that interpretation or translation within those languages.
Well, I'd like to do more languages, but I think in all cultures, in all languages, we deal with the same thing. We deal with our actions, the power of our actions, the power of love, the power of choice. And I have a lot of friends who are Spanish speaking. And one of the dear friends of mine is who translated it, and she did a fabulous job.
Wonderful. And I love that opportunity to allow more people. So this right there really shows evidence that a children's book really can change the world. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about the message of the Fence Post.
Mm-hmm. So the Fence Post is, well, let me back up 1 second. The whole series is about my dad and his dad. And my grandfather was so wise, and when he spoke, what he had to say was so very powerful. He didn't waste words. And so I think a little of that comes over to why I talk about what you say, right? And why it's important. And he helped my dad to learn lessons about what he was doing, what he was saying, how he was acting. And so the Fence Post is about the power of actions. And my dad had done something in response to being bullied because he was a poor sharecropper, which is like a farmer. And he was often made fun of. And so he got made fun of and he acted out and he did something bad and he told his dad all about it. And there's a lesson in the Fence Post that helps you understand the power of your actions.
Yes, your actions definitely have power. What's really interesting is that we get to see so many people's actions live, coming through our phone, coming on all these different platforms, and for good or for ill. And the power of what they're actually doing, combined possibly with what they're saying, is transformative in ways that can be very destructive, or in ways that can just be so uplifting and powerful. And we hope with the Beacon of Light podcast that you feel that hope and light. And so having Melissa here as a guest, really showing that these types of books with lessons, they are our life our life lessons to really learn and carry forward to hopefully gain wisdom.
Yeah.
And
character
increase
traits.
in that.
Yeah.
Right. Tell us more about those character traits.
So it's nice to think, like what you were just saying, that when you read a book, in this case, my grandfather is the one who shared wisdom with my dad. Well, of course, my grandfather has passed, but the lesson and the value can go on and on and on as more people read the book. And they can learn about the power of the action, the power of the choices you make. And all of those came from a loving father. It wasn't, okay, you were bullied, you retaliated. It wasn't a harsh lesson from his father. It was a loving lesson. And those kind of lessons, they stick with us. We have to think about not only what we've done, the consequence of what we've done. And sometimes we can fix it and sometimes we cannot. So that's why it's always good when you read a book that it has these kind of character traits and lessons in it, that you start thinking about, how do I treat others? And when they treat me a certain way, what do I do with it?
So true. The concept really is relational, right? Where we've got the understanding of, we all have like a standard that we want to be treated with, and how our actions and choices are kind of will show, yeah, you can treat me like this or not. If we have strong boundaries, if we have those things in place, that's very, very helpful. So the wisdom that your dad learned from the bullying experience that happened to him is something to read deeply within the book, and set in a children's setting. The impact is probably going to, I would think, pull from your own past history, from your experiences, and you'll probably have the time, you might even remember the smell or the place where something possibly similar to you happened, or at least the feeling of that. And then you might want to ask yourself the question, what have I done with that lesson that I learned? Or wait, did I learn the lesson?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's the challenge.
Yeah. We're all a work in progress.
Very, very true. Thankfully, there is time to continue that progress forward, and no one should ever stop or feel like this is the sign for fired. Sorry, you messed up. You're fired from life. No, we might have a minute to sit down, recoup, and then try again with the process. And that's something really, really remarkable.
And I think that
share a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think that is part of what you'll find in the book, is that his father gave him a lesson, but didn't tell him everything. He let him sit with it and think about it. And I think that is what drives the lesson home, is when we do have time to be introspective, to see how it all plays together. What I've said, what I've done, how I reacted or responded, and did I bring forgiveness, or did someone forgive me?
Beautifully said. And I really like the sign for forgiveness, because it's both sides. One side to forgive and the other side to accept that forgiveness. And it's that's a held belief for ourselves, for friendships, for anything that we need to right our wrong.
Yeah.
So great lesson. And I hope you, as you are looking through this, her book, Fence Post, The Fence Post, is available on Amazon. And we shared all of the links in the blog. And when this is over and we close out, we'll put some more links down below, because these are lessons that are just vital. Because I will say this boldly: society no longer supports these lessons out loud.
Mm-hmm.
They're hushed and quieted. And as a society, we need to be bringing them forward. So how we do that has to start within family, within the small community, with showing how these lessons can be learned, because other people had similar standards.
Mm-hmm.
And now those standards are really broken from truth just being shattered against so many different modalities and ideas. Right. So if we can take these life lessons that we all need and want and hope our children get, we no longer have that supportive society that will help reinforce that. And I am speaking in general terms, because hopefully there's still small pockets in places.
Right.
Unfortunately, they're just shrinking. And so having a book like this can help empower to maybe your friends circle, to maybe your parenting group together, and just think if they have those same ideals and standards, that more can be raised, and you feel like part of a team again in society to really help allow truths to go forward.
And like you were saying earlier, it is relational. And when a mom or a dad or a grandparent read this with a child, they're going to have relatable stories from when they were kids and they went through it. And it opens up a conversation.
And opening the conversation is just fantastic. Right. So I think really there's wisdom, there's love that comes within that, and the relational opportunity is right there within a children's book. And that definitely can change the world. So let's share a little bit about your second book called True Friends. Hold it up there. Let's see it loud and proud. I just love the art. There's a softness and a quality of, I want to say, nostalgia that goes along with that. Like, so the covers make me feel a little bit of that Norman Rockwell, along with maybe old Americana, but with a love of family and grandparents.
Well, the nice thing about this, if you read the fence post, this is Randy in the overalls and the little boy that he bullied in the fence post. And because of what you read about in the fence post, you'll understand why they are together in True Friends. And True Friends is about them and going up into a new something for Randy. He starts to work at the newspaper and delivers newspapers along with Charlie. And he learns a lot of lessons. And I think he might have taught some lessons too about hard work, your work ethic, what he was seeing other children or boys, how they were behaving with their belongings. He learned that with his hard work came monetary rewards. And then how he became really good friends for those boys. But when the money was gone, the boys were gone too. So he's learning about fair weather friends. And then he had to sit with that. The weight of it. I thought they were my friends, and now they're not my friends. And the things I was saving my money for, I can no longer afford. How do I treat them now? So he learned about a choice to forgive and to love people anyway.
Powerful, powerful understanding. That idea is really something to push forward, because it seems like with each generation we think that there's something new, or maybe the lessons are are not needed, or there's some type of a miss. But the real challenge is really, I think, deep down, those lessons throughout each generation need to be taught and carried forward. How it happens, how it comes about, maybe through more of a texting bullying than versus maybe a physical bullying. And it doesn't matter. The point is if things are happening, what can be the life lesson that's learned from it? And almost always goes back to this same type of 8 lessons that we as relational human beings need to understand. And how, as children, if we can learn that through love and through experience with support, it seems like we're healthier for that.
And I think the great thing about what you're doing this month with children's books, not just mine, but all of the other authors, is that when a child reads a story like these, somehow they are empowered to stand up for their friends if they're seeing them mistreated or used. It gives them some boldness. It's as if, hey, I'm not alone, or my friend is not alone. I can do something by the way I act and maybe the things that I say in defense of my friend. That's what's great about character lessons, is because it helps you look at yourself and say, am I that kind of person? Do I want to be a better person? What happened when I saw my friend being bullied? What was the result? What could I have done? It prompts not only building confidence, but it prompts them to ask questions about the kind of person they want to be.
Yes. Love that introspection of just examining, who do I want to become? Who am I going to, I would say, accept or absorb within my character building process.
Right.
And sometimes we don't understand the impact that our friends or our surroundings can really have on us. And with that being said, if you have, your top 5 positive people around you, it's going to be a very good structure.
Right.
However, you can't just live within that small group, because you need to interact and share that light outwardly. Right. So I would dare say that your dad, as he learned these lessons and now became the amazing man that he is, just didn't stick with his top, quote, top 5, right? I'm sure he has a group that's very much like that, but you probably have seen him reach out to people of all things, because he had the confidence and the understanding from the life lessons learned to do so. Could you share something about that with your dad and the impact he has made on your life?
So I think that because he was a sharecropper and he had very little, and God blessed him with compassion for others due to his situation. He knew what it was like to be hungry. He knew what it was like to have nothing. So when he became a man and he had a good work ethic and he worked hard and he got paychecks and he had money and he saw those fair weather friends come and go, but then he saw people that were in similar situations that he had been in, and he taught us empathy. I watched him go to a stranger's apartment, open his trunk, unload pots, pans, grocery bags, and we didn't know these people. We knew of them from church, and that was the last encounter I had with them. He did what was right, even if nobody knew about it, because he knew what it felt like to have nothing. And these folks were getting a fresh start, and they needed somebody to be their champion.
Yes. And sometimes those works through the eyes of witness that you yourself did. I'm sure that made an impression on you, that as you grow up and as you now live your life as a parent and looking about, you probably see with a perspective those same people that your dad saw because you were taught to see them.
Right.
And what a powerful understanding for children.
Mm-hmm.
I think innately the heart of a child is filled with the light of Christ.
Yes.
Which allows you to move things forward in such a positive way. With that, if those lessons are taught in such a way, through love and experience, their understanding to help their neighbor, quote unquote, their neighbor, the stranger, the person that they might not even know, it is there fundamentally.
Right.
And that is what changes. That's what brings back hope and peace, right? Those are the things that if we as a society come together again with, we'll just be so much better off. Now, when you look at as the society as a whole, it's pretty big. It's kind of out there. So where do you start? Family, maybe your small community, maybe your school, maybe your church. Where you can impact, that's where you go and reach. And, on a platform like this, where we are so blessed through technology to share this out to so many more people, why wouldn't I use those skills and talents to try to share Melissa's story about her dad and the grandfather's impact on her dad's life, which then impacted her life? Why wouldn't you do that? Yes. That light is out there to continue forward.
Yeah, and you're right. When we behave the way that our children can watch us and emulate, and hopefully it's the good way, because we can have bad behavior and they'll emulate that too. But if we're putting in the good thing, we have good core values and they see it. Like I saw my dad do this. And of course, I've done things like that too, where you don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. You're just giving. You don't want any reward for it. It's the right thing to do. I have seen my own children with something I thought they held very dear, hold it with open hands so that the blessings could just flow out. And it was the most beautiful thing as a parent to see them give up something that they had worked very hard for so that it would bless another person's life. And it starts when they're kids, when you're telling them stories, when you're reading them stories, when they see other children their age going through something and how they got through it. It's very important. It's very critical to their building of empathy and compassion and confidence, and to let them know that somebody believes in them, that they are valued, they have a creator who created them. I think that society has behaved poorly, and we've left a lot of people feeling very alone. And we don't have to. We could extend that empathy and compassion.
That's so true. And in that extension, what amazing things can happen. It's just beautiful to think about. So, Melissa, as we kind of wrap up this evening, what is it that you would like for the people that read the book? Would you like them to leave a review? Would you like them to email you and share maybe an impactful story that they had after reading the book? Tell us what you would hope that these books do for the world.
I would love that. I didn't even think to ask about that, but I would love people to send me an email, a review, how it impacted their children, their grandchildren, themselves, because the lessons are for 9 to 99-year-olds. Anybody can get something out of it. They can reminisce about, oh yeah, I remember when that happened to me. Oh wow, I could have handled it so much better. But I would love to hear from people. They can email me at melissallray@gmail.com. Now, we didn't share that, but if they go to the website too, they can contact me and share with me. I would just hope that we would get back to a society who understands the golden rule, to treat others as you would like to be treated, to know that you're not alone, to know that you're valuable and beautiful and unique and wonderful.
Yes. that it just seems to calm so many things down. Again, the two books that we've been discussing tonight, one is The Fence Post, and you can find that on Amazon. Also, True Friends. There they are. We're nice
Yes,
and strong. And the Spanish.
El Posto
That's
de la
right.
Cerca.
I won't even try.
Amigos Verdaderos.
I can sign it.
Yes.
True Friends. That's I don't know Spanish sign language, but that will work.
Fine. That's perfect.
That will work. Wonderful. So we hope that these 4 books, meaning we've got the 2 books in 2 different languages, really can share out there and build the impact that we would hope allows for light and hope to share out towards the world. Yes. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being a part of the Beacon of Light program this evening. Thank you for being part of our children's authors for this month in that focus, because as many of you know, that April is Childhood Sexual Abuse Awareness Month, and we want to really reach out to the child so that they can feel loved, valued, understood, and maybe if they started off in a rocky, challenging place, to let them know there's still hope. There's still so much more to live for. And if they can only get it through books and maybe through a kind teacher, start there. Yeah. And let's change the world as we can. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of the Beacon Light podcast. And tune in next week where we'll have another author with another children's book. So please support Melissa. Get over there to Amazon, leave a review, and share with her the impact through her email. And you can do that through the website, which you see running on the ticker underneath there. Again, the book is The Fence Post, True Friends, and her name is Melissa Ray. Thank you, everybody, and we'll talk soon.